Happy Friday and welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Insider Weekend Picks. It's round 20 in the AFL and round 22 in the NRL as we edge ever closer to finals. And there's over $70,000 in guarantees across the fantasy platforms this weekend. So let's jump to the action. We'll start in the AFL where the bookies totals tell us to be a bit wary of tonight's game between Richmond and Collingwood, as well as the Bulldogs, North Melbourne, Carlton, St Kilda and Fremantle West Coast matches that take place over the weekend. All of those matches have totals in the 150s and the 160s, so you're going to want to have a look at what the point scoring is in those games. Adelaide and Geelong are the weekend's big favourites, taking on Brisbane and Essendon respectively, although it's still worth a detailed look at the player projections to see where the scoring is going to be concentrated in those Adelaide and Geelong teams. Our team of the week doesn't really focus overly on the bookies' big winners, but does feature two from Geelong, with Patrick Dangerfield and Jimmy Bartel both expected to put up good scores in the midfield. There's also two from Sydney, who are decent favourites this week over Port Adelaide, with Sam Naismith at ruck and Xavier Richards in defence. Ed Langdon at 4,800 is another forward we think has decent upside despite being involved in one of those potentially low-scoring games, while Steve Johnson from GWS is a safer pick alongside him. Matt Priddis and the base-priced Rupert Wills fit out the midfield, while we spend a bit big on defence with Heath Shaw. In the NRL, games got underway last night with St George, Brisbane, and across the rest of the weekend the scoring looks pretty even. The majority of games around that 38 to 42 points common total in the NRL. The big favourites worthy of note then are Melbourne going up against South Sydney, as well as Canterbury against Newcastle, with Manly and North Queensland both pretty close to that two-try level. At Moneyball in our team of the week we had Corey Parker and Sam Thaiday. At Moneyball in our team of the week we had Corey Parker and Sam Thaiday in our full round team from last night's game, although Jason Tomalolo and Greg Bird combined for only about 6 points less. Damien Cook looks like he may get some game time at hooker this week, and at 4,400 that's probably worth the risk. While Paul Gallen and Sam Burgess complete the forwards, and there's not much to say about them except that they're consistent but also expensive. We think Conrad Hull for the Gold Coast remains underpriced, and Clinton Gutherson again makes the cut a winger despite the Eels' projected struggles. Milne for St George was just 4,200 last night, and we felt he was a good chance to outperform that salary, but there's plenty of bargain alternatives, while Nathan Cleary keeps his spot at half. On Jared Hayne, our best advice is really to stay well clear at 8,700. And that's it for another week. Be sure to check out the Fantasy Insider website for the most recent instalment of our DFS 101 series. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on the leaderboards.